Hello, my most amazing artists. Let's create our own Dubuffet style artwork using the idea of doodles. We're going to work on a white piece of paper. It's pretty thin copy paper, so we would definitely want to have a messy mat under because the Sharpie marker might go through. So we're going to take our Sharpie, put the cap on the back, and I want you to create 4 lines, only 4. Okay, it's too many lines, it might just get too crazy. And each line that you make has to start on one edge of your paper and ends on another. And as I'm drawing these lines, instead of using the very tip of my marker to make like a skinny line like this, I'm going to try to use the side, I'm going to try to use the side of my marker to make my line a little bit fatter. So using the side of my marker, I'm going to start on the top and I'm going to make a line that wiggles and moves across to the bottom like that. A nice thick black line. Then I'm going to start on another side of my paper. Maybe I'll start here and I'm going to make another kind of line. Maybe this time I'll give it a little loop like that. What you don't want to do is make your line too crazy, because if you make your line too crazy like this, it's just going to be a little bit more difficult. You also don't want to have a million little bumps like this. Try to have a nice smooth curve to your line, kind of like what I've started doing on mine. And we're going to see those lines on the back of our paper too. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to start this time maybe over here. And I'm going to make a line that wiggles and moves. It crosses through my other lines, and that's okay. So this is only 3 lines, and you can see how my paper is very filled in already. So one more line should be more than enough. I think I'm going to make this one a small line. I'm going to start on this edge, and I'm just going to make a little curve to that edge like that. Once you've got your 4 lines, you're going to flip your paper over, and we can see these lines already on the back. We just want to see them a little bit clearer and better. So I'm going to go over this again. Now, if you have a black marker that is running out of ink, you definitely want to let me know, and I will switch it with a different one, because we really want to see these lines come through on the back so we can trace the exact same thing on the reverse side of our paper. So you want to take your time, because you don't want to create a new line here. We want to just go over the line that we have so it seems nice and crisp like that. And if there's anywhere where you feel it needs a little touching up, you can absolutely do that. So now you have the same lines on the front and on the back. After you have your lines on the front and on the back, we're going to create some stripes. Just like we saw in his artwork, in Dubuffet's artwork, we saw him create repeating patterns and lines inside some of the spaces. So we're going to start with our black, since we already have it in our hand. And in maybe 2 of these spaces, you're going to choose a line to repeat, a straight line, but it can go side to side, it can go up and down, it can go on a diagonal. It is up to you. I'm going to do this next one on a diagonal like that. And since we're going all the way to the edge of the paper, I'm keeping my messy mat so that I don't make a mess on my desk. I'm going to flip it over again, and I'm going to do the tracing on the back side, because I can clearly see that color going through my paper, and I want that to look more finished on the back side as well. Perfect. Now that I've got my black in there, I'm going to cap this up, and we're going to think a little bit about color. At most, you can choose 2 colors. So Dubuffet really liked red and blue, but you don't have to make yours red and blue. I love yellow. I think I'm going to do yellow and orange, or maybe even yellow and green as my colors. But it is up to you what 2 colors you want to use, and you might have to share these colors with someone else who's using the same colors at your table. So you can start with one of those colors. I'll start with my yellow. I'll put the cap on the back so it doesn't roll away. And I can either create skinny lines by keeping it up on its toes. So I think I'm going to create vertical lines that go straight up and down. And I'm keeping my marker up on its toe to make it nice and skinny. And I'm repeating that line inside this space. Or I can create nice fat lines. And for fat lines, I think I'm going to use the side of my marker. And this time I'm going to go side to side. I'm going to make horizontal lines. So these are fatter lines like this. And then I want to repeat the same thing on the back. Now this time I can't see my colors through here, but that is okay. I can just repeat those same fat lines inside here. So these colors don't go through as much as the other ones. And that's alright. And on the other side I created skinny up and down or vertical lines. So I'm going to repeat those here. I'm going to cap up my yellow. And I'm going to switch to my green. Now on each paper you can choose one space where you just color it in. So I think I'm going to stick to a small space for this. I like to outline my space first like that to keep it nice and neat and keep my color where I want it to be. And then I'm going to do line after line of color using the side of my marker to color it in nice and neatly like that. So you can have one space that you color in. And then the rest of the space I'm going to use my lines again. So I think I'm going to do diagonal lines this time. Slanty lines, I'm using the side of my marker to keep it nice and fat like that. And then in this one I'm going to do lines that go up and down in this way. Beautiful. And I got to do the same thing on the back, so I got to flip it over. If you can see the color through, which I can a little bit, then I'm just going to try to trace on top of what I already see. And if you can't see the color through, that's fine. You don't have to trace it exactly. But since I can see these green lines showing through, I'm just going to trace right over those on the opposite side. And then I can't forget to color in this space as well. Like that. So I have one piece that's done, but you're not going to be done until you have 4 pieces that are done. So on each piece your black lines will look different. Maybe you'll color in a different kind of space. Maybe you'll use different kinds of lines, but you do need to stick to the same colors. So if I did yellow and green on my first piece, then I need to do yellow and green on all my other pieces as well. Can't wait to see yours.